A significant theme among all the participants in my research on polymaths had to do with identity, from the perspective of what others think of them, their identity as perceived by others socially. Being a polymath can make social interactions richer, but also more challenging sometimes. That's what I heard from my participants. One specific area of challenge polymaths face has to do with being thought of as ostentatious. Many polymaths were cognizant of the fact that if they share information with others about all their various capabilities in different realms, that may be construed as bragging, which could put off other people. The participant I called Kevin shared that if he shared too much about his skills and capabilities, quote, "it sounds like you're bragging," end quote. Kevin shared that he may downplay his capabilities at times in order to have a pleasant relationship with another person, without intimidation or coming across as bragging. The participant I called Svetlana described herself as being someone deeply interested in understanding other people, but feeling like no one truly understands her. While on one hand, she wants to be deeply understood, this is juxtaposed with the sense that she must oftentimes censor what she tells people about herself so that the information is easily digestible for others. Svetlana said, quote, "It can be a little bit lonely, I guess, because I don't always think people can understand where I'm coming from. Just like on a very human level, I think that the way that I like to connect with people is very complex, and I want to know them so well," end quote. She was not alone in this sentiment. In fact, most of the polymaths I interviewed alluded to not really feeling understood, at least not fully. This is the polymath's dilemma. They rarely feel understood from the outside, though they would like to be. But at the same time, in an attempt to be understood, they must frequently simplify the complexity of their identity. They censor themselves. Everyone, to some degree, may censor what they share about themselves, given the setting or the people involved. Of course, self-censorship is not unique to a polymath. What may be unique to the polymath are the reasons behind why they must censor themselves. A polymath may censor him or herself to try to be understood more easily and or to not threaten or put off other people who might otherwise be intimidated by the accomplishments and capacity of a polymath. An accomplished polymath may censor him or herself to avoid being considered a braggart. What is noteworthy is that people in general usually share more about themselves in order to be understood. Polymaths, to be understood, seem to share less, or perhaps must share different versions of stories about themselves to different people, depending on the context and the relationship. This precise difference is an important finding of my research because it may explain why polymathy as a subject is not more frequently discussed in our society. Polymaths who openly share their capabilities or who address their identity as a polymath may not be well received by others or may not be well understood. And so the person withholds information about their polymathy, and thus polymathy as an important topic of discourse remains largely in the shadows. If a polymath wishes to remain unfettered by difficult social interactions, sometimes it is easier not to share too much about who they are, at least not very thoroughly, especially with someone they are just meeting.